Good morning, everybody. My name is Louise from Clarity Crafts here in the UK. Welcome to a new Friday show. We did the Paul launched these originally, I think last week on Hobby Maker. So what we thought we'd do today is I will go through the new set with everyone, have a look at all of the lovely samples that all the lovely design team members have created. And then we'll go over the other two sets that we also brought out earlier on this year. So it's a nice way of just going through all of the lovely design samples, having a look at some of the artwork as well. And then we can have a little fun with a bit of a demo as well for everybody to have a look at as well. So just waiting for all of our lovely friends to come in the room. Sound is great. Thank you, Jilly. So the lovely Jilly, she's going to be in the room with you this morning. To keep you entertained and to also put any links up that I'm talking about, and just to bring through any information that anybody asks that I miss on the chat maybe. So I can see all of our lovely friends are now coming into the room. So before we get started, I'll just do a little bit of housekeeping. So there's two ways in which you can order. You have www.claritycrafts.com, and you also have the telephone number for Sue down in the office, and there's also the lovely Jazz and Pete that will also be able to take your calls. And the number for that is 01732 868215. So so there's two ways. And if you have a look at the Catch Up and Craft area, all of that information's there. And also there's a blue icon on the website, which you can click on that, and you'll be able to see all of the products that are in the show today. So that's all the housekeeping out the way. So the 4 new plates are really, really lovely. You can always tell when the design team have come through and they've loved the stamp sets or the groovy plates that have come out, because you just get so many samples. And we really have this year, I've noticed there's so many new designs that are absolutely stunning. Just it evolves as the years go on. So that's really, really lovely to see, and everything's just so natural. It comes out, and Jazz and Barbara design it all, so it's just really nice. And then you have the lovely Linda that designs all of her lovely groovy plates as well. So morning, everyone. I can see everybody's in the room now, so that's cool. So Friday morning, last night Barbara did a really lovely craft along, so I watched that. That was good fun. So a few of you may be kind of like heads buzzing who do stamping stencils as well as groovy, thinking, oh my gosh, there's so many new exciting things to do this weekend. Let me get cracking into it now. So let me bring up some bits on the screen for you. So this way. On the screen, you'll see the new set, the Christmas all-in-one, Tina's Christmas all-in-one A5 square Groovi Plate collection. So that's $35.96. There's quite a good saving on that. And also, as you can see, underneath the price, there is also 10% off if you are a Groovi Stamp or Stencil member. Then if you're a gold member, you get 12.5% off. And then if you're a diamond member, so if you belong to all 3 clubs, you get 15% off, which brings it down to £30.57. So that's a really good price as well, considering that you get four plates. And also on the back, if I just show you on the back, let me just bring this in, you get a sheet which is exact size of the inspiration that created the plate. So not only do you get the plate, but you also get some inspiration in there as well. And you get that for all 4 Christmas plates as well. So you have this really lovely one, which Tina created. And Tina loves to work in layers. And then there's that one. And then lastly, there's that one. So that's a really lovely thing as well, which which is a good thing to have. It's always good to have inspiration. I know a lot of us struggle sometimes, you know, you want to kickstart your mojo. So sometimes it's nice to have that inspiration on the back as well. So let me bring in some of the design team samples. Just going off screen. Hey. I think it's just lovely to see all of the design team samples of the lovely plates. And you can really, really tell that everybody's had great fun with these plates. So I'll just bring in, I'll let you know who designed them. But yeah, it's just really nice to see all of the lovely design team samples. So let me bring in the first one here. There we go. So who created this? This is probably Carol Pankstello, yes. Isn't that beautiful? So you've got the semi-square tool, you've got some lovely little snowflakes. So you can create this. If I bring that in a little bit here, the really nice thing is you can use this with a diagonal grid, almost like create a flower, and then you can join the lines up to make a snowflake, which is really nice. So if you do like that, you can make a flower, but then if you join the lines up, you can make a little snowflake. So I really, really like that. So that's good fun. Let me bring this in here. Okay, so let me come out a little bit so you can really get to see all of the other lovely design team samples. So I'll bring in one here from Jill Askham. That's also very, very beautiful. Lots of glitter. And Jill Askham likes to use like a metallic paint as well, which is really lovely. A little bit of dorsing and everything as well. And then we've got a lovely card from Glynis Whitehead. So a lovely arch grid work around the outside. So this as well, if you took away the grid, this here is a really beautiful mini make. So you can make big cards, but you can also make smaller cards, which is really, really nice. Let me bring in, oh, this is a lovely one too. Again, this also proves if you took this away, again, it's a really beautiful mini make. So these plates here, if you take a look, for example, this one here, there's a mini make there. Then there's another layer that you could use. So they've all got layers, which is really nice. This is perfect for your little mini makes. This little square in the middle. And again, this one here, so a slightly larger mini make, but it's really, really lovely on its own. So it really proves that you can make little cards as well. And they're not so daunting then. Let's bring in, oh, this is a nice one. This is also another one from Glynis Whitehead. So you've got a lovely gold ink on that one. And, oh, this is a nice one. This is Karen Jackson. So again, another beautiful card. There's just so many lovely ones. You can't choose. There's another one. Karen Jackson. A little bit of grid work as well. Like that. What else have we got? This is Josie Davidson. So it's just using the semi-square tool around the outside there and then around the outside here as well. So that really ties it in together. And we've got a lovely one here from Carol Baker. This is really beautiful. So if I come in a little bit closer, there we go. She's used this lovely purple ink to trace instead of using the groovy plate as it comes. She's tracing over, so using it as a traditional pattern. This is beautiful as well. Josie Davidson created this. You can really see all of the lovely work that's gone into this. You've got the grid work, so making it look very lacy. We've got the tool work inside, and the snowflake's got some really beautiful glitter. And then just one of Josie Davidson's lovely grids around the outside as well. These cards are absolutely stunning. Here's another one from Hazel Edwards. So this is lovely. So this is just slightly larger than your PTC size. But isn't that nice that you can make it into a PTC if you wanted to? This is a lovely one from Glynis Whitehead. Lovely bit of dorsing around there and a little bit of picot cutting here and there. I love the picot cutting in the actual border That's very intricate. This one's one that I created. So I just used, where is the plate there? There we go. So I used these corners here in the corners there, and I just used the elements here and made a little pattern with it. And then there's a little bit of the semi-square and the semicircle in the border there. A little bit picot cutting here and there. I've used the star point in the border around here. So there's lots of exciting things that you can do with these plates. There really is. This is Karen Jackson. Isn't that beautiful? Really love the green parchment as well. It's a very, very bright green. You might not be able to notice so much on this screen, but it's really vibrant, really beautiful. This must be Josie. Yeah. Oh no, it's Glynis. It's a lovely bit of grid work. You see all of this grid work and you think, oh, Josie Davison must have done that, but it's the lovely Glynis has created that. Very beautiful. It's just black and white, just always looks so stunning. But then so does this. This is Carol Pankstello. Really beautiful. Lots of glitter. Always lots of glitter. I love the glitter. This is Hazel Edwards. So this is beautiful. Again, lots of glitter. But pattern building just some of these elements just around the border just to create a completely different style. And this is Jill Ascombe. So Jill Ascombe has used some of our doodle dies to create borders, and then a lovely little bit of stitching around the outside as well. Isn't that beautiful? And then lastly, I will show you one from Carol Baker again. Isn't that lovely? That's lovely muted tones. So you've got the lovely like sage green colour. Absolutely gorgeous. So those are the cards. Let me come back onto the screen. Those are all of the gorgeous cards from this new set that came out. So it's really, really beautiful. If you haven't bought them so far, then I really do recommend them because you can use them as they are. And then you can also use them in different ways. So I'm just going to show you. These are the cards that Tina, I mean, this is stunning. This one here is one that started the all-in-one plate and created that plate there. So you've got the red behind, but all of this has been picot cut. All of this is one layer, and it's just been put on that red paper. But yeah, it's absolutely stunning. Really beautiful. And then where's the other one that she created? It's underneath, that's why. Isn't that stunning? So you've got the teal parchment on the top, and then underneath is the plain parchment, and then underneath is this blue paper here. So you've kind of got the blue paper that's right at the bottom poking out through the plain parchment, which is the medium layer, and then the top layer is just this border here, all being picot cut on one side and then coloured with a little bit of white work on the outside. So they're really beautiful. This one is done. Linda Williams actually created this, which it's like a piece of card, and then you can wrap around parchment. So all of this doesn't need a brad because what's happened is underneath has been taped down. So all of this is not taped. So that's another way. If you didn't want to use brads, it's another way, a clever way of disguising how to stick it down, which is always very handy. And lastly, there was this one. Again, there's this top layer, which is plain parchment. Then you've got the blue parchment underneath, which is the second layer. And then you've got this other bit of parchment underneath, which is the bottom layer. So there's 3 layers to this. So that's the bottom layer where the baubles are. And then you've got the blue parchment here and then the plain parchment on top. So very good. Okay. So I just get so excited when I see parchment samples, and Tina's style is so beautiful. She always works in layers, so I think it's always good to see. So that is Tina's Christmas all-in-one A5 square Groovi Plate collection. So that's the new set that came out. Also, if you wanted to, if I bring up the actual full page here, so this is the very first all-in-one set that we created. This is Tina's Floral Swirls and Corners all-in-one A5 square Groovi Plate collection. Again, it's $35.96, and then underneath you have all of your discounts. So if you are a Groovi Club member, you will get 10% off, and that's $32.36. Then if you were a gold member, so if you belong to 2 clubs, that would be 12.5% off, which brings it down to $31.46. And then if you're a diamond club member of all 3 clubs, you would get 15%, which is £30.57. And that is the first 4 that we brought out. So if I come back to this screen here, yes, there we go. And we can have a look at a few samples of the very first set that came out. Oh, I've disappeared. There we go. There's a lot of things on my desk. It's very exciting stuff. Okay, so if I just bring in some of the design team samples, I think it's so lovely to see all of the beautiful samples. I really do. So let me just bring in the first one. This is actually just a tag. So this is Gelascum. Here we go. Which is really lovely. You've got little sequins that have been stitched in. And this is like, this is actual Groovi plate. There's a Groovi plate downstairs. I say downstairs, that's where all of the plates are. We have a Groovi plate on the website, which is an arch, and it's got these lovely roses, which is perfect. I know Glynis actually likes working with tags, and what she'll do is she'll create the tag like this and then create all this beautiful tool work around the outside, which is absolutely stunning. So this is saying that you don't have to make cards, you can make matching gift tags for your presents as well. So you could create your parchment card, you could create your parchment tag, and then you could even create, this is a thought, you could create your own wrapping paper. If you had like A3 like a newsprint paper, you know, the build a reef stamps. Now this is beautiful. This is Julie Campbell. So you have this fits so well with this plate itself. And these are the build a reef stamps. So there was spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And they're just perfect. You could imagine this as a really lovely wrapping paper. That would look absolutely gorgeous. So you think you had this card, could create this wrapping paper all over like an A3 paper, and then that with a matching tag, all colour coordinated. Wouldn't that absolutely look beautiful? So I just wanted to show that because I actually need to buy some. I need to buy some Build a Reef stamps. Okay, so we've got a lovely one from Hazel Edwards. Now this is beautiful because we've got the stickers. There are plenty of sticker books on the website to have a look at, but this is showing that you can use your stickers with your parchment. And this isn't using the plate as it comes. This is quite ingenious. You're just using the border all along, which is really, really beautiful. And here is one. Oh, that's my one. I don't know why I looked on the back. I didn't recognize it. This is one that I did. So I just used one of the flowers from one of the 4 plates. If I bring in the actual, this is a good idea. So I've actually, let me bring in this one. I've just used one flower just there, and then just use some of the heart details. So that is really beautiful as well. Again, this is another one I created. So there's 2 layers to this. You've got the purple parchment on top of the plain parchment. So this is kind of like, it's quite lacy. And we've got one from Jill Ascombe. This is very beautiful. I love the design around here. And then the lovely, this is using one of Josie's embossed pattern A4 square plates. There's 6 altogether. There's 3 straight and there's 3 diagonal. But this is really, it's a really lovely design. And I love this. This is beautiful. This is Karen Jackson's. She's created one of the owls. There's Linda Williams owl, little owl plates. And look at the little googly eyes. I just think they're absolutely beautiful. So stunning. Then there's a lovely, beautiful one from Glynis Whitehead. So again, it's using that flower, just that one element, that flower, and then just using one of the plates to create that lovely corner as well, which is absolutely stunning. Now, this is a really cute little, pretty little card. You've got 2 layers here, and you've got one of the Pico V-tools, and then you've just got this lovely little doodle border with this lovely corner. Just like a Mother's Day card or a birthday card for your mum. That would be beautiful. And then we've got a lovely, beautiful one from Karen Jackson. This is beautiful. So just using that big floral corner. And we've got one from Jane, which is very glittery, very beautiful. And they've got that lovely matching designer paper as well, which ties it all really in together, really lovely. What else have we got? Got this one from Glynis Whitehead. This is lovely. So this is one using the special sentiments plates, and then together with that lovely border, that's really, really beautiful. I know Paul loves these plates, the special sentiments plates. It's a beautiful one from Frances Knott. So using just a few elements and to create a little pattern border. That is absolutely stunning. And another one from Frances. So it's a lovely bit of tool work, and then just using this beautiful design and tracing over it and using coloured pencil work and everything. It's really pretty. So again, some really beautiful cards. And I know we've had these on before. These were the very first plates that we had, but they are absolutely stunning, and they were really, really popular when they first came out as well. So if you haven't seen them, I really, really do recommend them. So let me show you should have showed you this first, to be fair, but these are the very first ones that we did. So this is really, really beautiful, because if I show you the actual card, you will be blown away. Hold on, I'm bringing it in. So this is, let me move that out of the way. There we go. This is the very, very pretty card that we created the all-in-one plate from. So this is Tina Cox's creation. So you've got that plain parchment, and this originally came from Tina's Floral Swirls 1 and 2 corners, and it's just so beautiful. So you've got the black parchment, but you could use midnight blue. That would work as well, because on the blue parchment it looks more or less exactly the same. Then you've got the plain parchment with all of the pattern building as well. So that was that plate. And then this one is the 4U plate, which is 42433 if you wanted it on its own. The best deal is to get the whole collection though. So I recommend getting the full collection if you can. This is the lovely plate that Tina Cox created, which is the plate which we took the design from. Really pretty. Again, the plain parchment on top of that lovely designer paper. That's that one. And then you've got the With Love. So this is that big flower that we've seen in some of the lovely design team samples. And this is the lovely card that was created from that as well. So you've got the lovely corner, got the little corners there, and then this beautiful border, which you can actually, if you wanted to create the border all the way along, because obviously it stops where the flower is, you just have to turn the plate, and so you can create a whole border using that. And then lastly, you've got the very best wishes. So this is that lovely corner that you might have seen throughout the plates, and Tina Cox created this as well. And this is really lovely. So you can use this on its own or this on its own. It's just so versatile. So again, really, really beautiful. Just can't get enough. Can't get enough of this beautiful artwork. It's so pretty. Let me move that in there. Now, the second collection, I'll just quickly go through the second collection that came out. Let me bring that on the screen for you. So this came a few months ago now. Tina's Rosy Doodles all-in-one A5 square Groovi plate collection. Again, same price. And underneath you can see all of the discounts that you will get if you are a Groovi Club member, Gold member, or a Diamond Club member. So you've got all of the discounts there for you. So if I show you the designs, and then we'll go over some artwork again. So this is the whole collection, which is 42476. So this one is the Just a Note. So I'm just going to bring in the actual plates, the actual artwork rather. You know when you've got one card that just won't get up. There we go. Okay. So yes, so this is Just a Note. So this actually originally came from this plate, this groovy design that Tina Cox created. So this is really beautiful. I've got the two borders and then the circle. And this is really good because you can add a few little lines here and there and create your own easy layout card if you wanted to. So that's, if you wanted that on its own, that's 42471. And then this one's really lovely because this is one of the ones that when Tina first created this card years and years ago, I wanted to recreate it. So years ago, I recreated using the Rosy border plates that we had. But it's so much easier now that you have it in a trace out form. So you've got this lovely, beautiful layer on top, which is the circle border, and then the actual frame with this little bit here. But underneath, on the plain parchment underneath, is this bit here, and then the corner, and then this middle bit here. And it just all together, it just ties in. It looks absolutely stunning. So that's that plate. And then we have the Happy Birthday. Now, isn't this lovely? I love this. You've got the 4 kind of like border circles. And Tina Cox originally created this, put thank you in there. On the trace out, we did actually think we added this because we thought the Happy Birthday would look really good as well. So again, another really beautiful card. Then the last one, now this is beautiful because if you look at Tina Cox's original plate, you can do this yourself. We've created the original card. However, this is in layers. So you have this top layer here, which is plain parchment. So if you saw that, you could picot cut around here. And then you've got this pink parchment here, which is a second layer, which you could picot cut carefully around here. And then this layer here is obviously you could trace around there and picot cut around there. So it's a lot of picot cutting, I know, lots of perforating and lots of picot cutting, but it's worth it to see this really beautiful card. Now, if you're not actually, if you're still trying to master the art of picot cutting, we do have this course coming up in November, which is the 123 online course for perforating and picot cutting. So this is going to be run by myself and Paul, and we'll be going through 3 cards, and you'll be learning how to picot cut across along a straight line. There'll be picot cutting and perforating around grid work, tool work. So really everywhere that you would think of that you need to perforate and picot cut around, we'll be teaching you in these 3 modules. So the first one will be Wednesday the 5th November. That'll be 1 till 4. And then we have Wednesday the 12th November, 1 till 4, and Wednesday the 19th November, 1 to 4. And it's really going to be alongside all of the other courses. This is the 4th course we've done this year. We originally did a foundation course, and then we did the white work course, colour course, and this is the perforating and picot cutting course. So this is the last one of the year. So that's going to be exciting. Also, in November, we do have the open days coming up. So let me bring up this information here for you. So the Clarity Open Days, they are absolutely brilliant days. I really do recommend them. If you're sitting on the fence and you've never been, I know a lot of our lovely friends in the room have been to many, but if you've never been and you can make it, these will be worth it. There'll be make and takes, but for both stamping and groovy, they'll be demonstrating from both groovy and parchers and also stampers and mixed media artists. And there's also little raffles each hour. And it's really just this lovely place where everybody gets together, does lots of shopping, lots of watching beautiful artwork, chatting with like-minded friends. Barbara has a lot of her lovely pottery and bits and pieces there. And it's really, you've got the lovely Jazz and her mum usually do sandwiches and get everybody fed during the day. And it's just a really beautiful, fun day. And there's also a snipping clinic, which will help you face-to-face with perforating and picot cutting. So you really can't go wrong. That's the Friday one. That's £10. And then you have the Saturday one. So I know a lot of our lovely friends make a real weekend of this. So they come on Friday, they come on Saturday, and then they also come to our workshops. So this is the Saturday open day, which is 60215. That's worth it as well. And then on Sunday, we have the Clarity workshops. So this is the one for getting inky and arty with Barbara Gray. This is Sunday the 16th of November. So a month yesterday, a month to go. Wow, that's gone quick, hasn't it? So that's the inky and arty one. So that's if you love your mixed media and your stamping and you like to get messy. That's 60216. And then we also have a lovely Groovy Parchment workshop with Linda Williams. So she'll be walking you through a lovely, beautiful card, and you'll learn lots of tips and tricks. If you know, from the lovely Linda Williams, you can't really go wrong either. So those are the Clarity workshops. So that's a month away. So that's not long now. It's gone. Oh, hello. It's gone really, really quick. This year. So I think I started in February and it's now like middle of October. I don't know where the time's gone. So those are all the bits and pieces that I wanted to show you. I thought now we're going to like a little demo, have a little look. Yeah, we'll have a little go with a demo because we're halfway through now. So I think it's time. So we have with every show, when we usually do a demo, we also have a demo download. So if I show you this is the card that we're going to do today. So this is it's Snowflake and Mistletoe. So this is when you go on the catch up and craft area, it will come through with all of the videos of all past TV shows. So it will just be the TV shows. On YouTube, you can also find the Groovy Tuesdays and the Shack ones as well. So you have the card, and then you have all of the ingredients used. So this is always very, very handy. I would print these off, keep them in a little library for both Groovy, and there's also some lovely stamp and stencil ones as well. So this is the card. So it looks a little bit, you can see the glitter on this now. I added glitter. Second card this year that I've added glitter to. I don't use it enough. Pretty. So yeah, so we're going to go through a few little stages there. So I've used a semi-square, used some glitter, done a little bit of colouring, a little bit of white work. So we'll just have a little half-hour, little bit of fun, shall we? I think that's a good idea. Okay, so I'll keep that card over there so we know what we're doing. So I think I might need to come out first. There we go. Move that there. Perfect. Okay, so let me just okay, so let me bring in the platemate. That is what we need. And oh, actually, that's a good idea. Hold on. Let me bring you back. So is it that one? I'm just bringing it. Ah, there it is. So this way. There we go. That is the starter kit. So if you're absolutely new to Groovi, I'll go over a few little things now. But this is the, I mean, this is well loved and well used. It's been around for a while. This is my black mat, which will come in the starter kit alongside the platemate. You also get quite a few plates. I think there's 3 plates. You have your tools, your Groovi tools 1, 2, 3, and 4, and your inset plate, alongside some sticker tabs, and an inspiration booklet as well, which is always very useful. We like inspiration. We have to have inspiration. So I'm going to start with this plate first. So this is really, really pretty. I like this one. So I thought what I'll do first is I will use my plain parchment, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to trace out this middle element here. I'm not going to trace out the snowflake because I've put a different element inside. So what we do first is we use our tumble dry sheet, and I use the tumble dry sheet both sides. This is so that I can use white work on one side. It makes it easier to perforate, and it's just, if you get into that habit of doing that every time, then you don't get caught out later on when you think, oh, I needed to emboss that and it's not perforating very well. So there we go. So, and this always comes in handy, putting your Groovi tabs on your platemate, because then you don't lose them and they don't end up somewhere on your carpet hiding. So I'm going to bring in my Groovi guard. This doesn't come in the starter kit, but if you wanted to grab yourself a Groovi guard, they are on the website. And as you can see, because what happens is if you put your hands on the parchment, for anybody that's new to parchment, let me bring it a little bit closer. There we go. For anybody that's new to parchment, you will you'll make marks. It's just a natural thing. The oils on your fingers, you get little fingerprints. You don't really want fingerprints. So what I usually do is I use the number 2 first and then go in with my number 1. That is what I normally do. So these little bits here, these are I'm gonna put some white work in those. So I'm literally only just using my number 2 for that. There we go. And then I'm just going to be creating the line up for this circle here, not this middle circle, just the outer one. So again, I would trace all of these elements, and then when you're finished, I've just created the middle one just so that I can then bring in this plate here. So that was the first plate I used, and then I brought in this plate here and this corner here, let me just move that round to the circle. I laid just the berries, the 2 hollies, and then some of these fir right at the bottom. So let me just show you that quickly. So these berries are going to be red. So you can put you want them nice and bright. So to use the number 2 and then the number 1. I'm just going to do the top just so that I can show you the layout. Okay, so then I would go in with my number 1 and create that lovely white line art. And then what I did was I laid these 3 candles on top of the 2 holly. And so you've created a completely different line art to, there we go. Using my number 2 and my number 1. There we go. So then you have your candles. So far, we'd have our layout, we have our candles, and then I use the third plate, which is this one here. Now I only use this, I'm on the front now, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line up this box here, because I want this line here. So all I'm doing is I'm bringing in my white pencil, which can be your B1 or your A1, and I'm just marking the 4 corners. Oh, hello. It's because the sticker tabs are upside down, so I'm getting stuck to them now. So let me move that out the way now, because we don't need plates anymore. So that third plate I've only used to mark off the 4 corners. Now you could use your any nested squares you wanted to. Let me just move these groovy tabs over there. Because I don't, for this piece of art here, I haven't put a line in. There's no white line etched with my groovy plate. So I've just literally brought my Pergamano ruler, which is also on the website, and I'm just using the white pencil on the front, because what you want is once you've perforated, you can then rub the white line out. But if you use this on the back, once you've perforated, you're not going to be able to rub it out, because that's the side that you'll have all of the holes sticking up, and it'll make it very impossible. So you just want a guide, really, just like that. So you can just see, and then after you've perforated, we can then rub out with your Faber-Castell pink or white eraser, which is also very handy. So once you've done that and all the line art's been done, you get to this. Here's one I did earlier, just like that. So what I thought I'd show you first is a little bit of white work. So the only place that I have put some white work is this little bit at the bottom. Let me come in a bit closer. There we go. Right, let me just there. Oh, that's good. It focused very well. So just these little white bits there. So what I need to do there is I need to turn over. Hopefully it doesn't have too much of a wobble. There we go. That's fine. So I'm using my Groovy Tool 3 and 4, which have slightly larger balls than the 1 and 2. So perfect for little elements of white work. So when using the white work for little round balls, what you don't want to do is in your head you want to go round and round and round and round and round. And then sometimes what happens is when you do that, you get a little dark spot in the middle. So what you need to do is you need to go up and down, side to side, and round. That way you won't get that little, because what happens, let me show you what happens if you do it the way I say. So you want to go round and round and round, and then you end up with this little dot here. And it just takes a little while for you to try and put it back in. But it's just easier. You don't have to do that if you just go up and down, side to side, and round and round. So once you've created all of your white work, which is just these little elements here, you will get, let me just move my mat onto the hard side again, you'll get that. So just the white work's been done. So I thought we'll have a little bit of fun with some colouring now. So I've got some colours here. So I'm going to use the Perga colours. So this is, you have 30 pens here. It's very, very close, I know. That's 70060. It's trying to zone in, but they are very, very lovely colours. So I've just got a few, these colours here are very, very good for the mistletoe. And this, even though it looks like a yellow, it is like literally a lime green. It's so yeah, so let's do a little bit of colouring. So I wanted to show you on here, it may be a little bit difficult to see, but I have used a two-tone for the leaf. So I've used a darker colour at the bottom of the leaf and a lighter colour at the top. And then I've put loads of glitter over the top. So we like our glitter. We do like our glitter, especially around Christmas. So I'm literally going to use number 16 and 29. So I'm going to put the darker colour down the bottom first. And I'm going to use the bigger nib. And you want to work fairly quickly while it's still wet so that you can blend the two colours together a little bit more. Okay, so let me show you again on here. So got your darker colour, and then quickly with your lighter colour just rub over the middle part where it then blend the two colours together, so you get a two-tone look there. There you go. So you can see it's darker down the bottom than it is at the top. However, if you wanted a little bit of a, I mean, I'm just going to show you just something a little bit different. If you wanted to have a little bit like a three-tone, you could kind of come in at the top with a little bit of your white work, and you would just use a little bit of a flicking motion. So right at the tip of your leaf, you would have it would be white. So it might give that frosted look, which would look quite nice. So just a little bit right at the tips. I mean, this wasn't in the demo, but we're going with it. Here we go. So I'll go back onto the hard side of my mat. Soft side for white work, hard side for colour. Okay, so we've got this little bit here. So again, I'd use a little bit darker at the bottom, and then mix it with my lighter colour, which is the 29, and then I would go over the white work with the other colour, so then when you turn it over, it gives a nice little frosted look, which looks quite nice as well. So, you know, you can just use colour if you wanted to, or you could make it look slightly frosty and put a little bit of white work in, which will look really lovely with the glitter as well, I think. Just to have a little bit of white work at the ends, that would look really nice. And you could, let's see if it works after. I'm just going to check if it, there we go. Is it? Yeah. So you can, even if you wanted to, sorry, my brain had a little bit of a momentary lapse. So if you wanted to add white work after, you can always just, because white work will always take precedence over the colour, unless the colour is on the front. So I'm just putting a little bit of white work on top after the colour's been put on. So if you accidentally put the colour thing and then you think, oh, I actually would quite like little white tips with my white work, then you can always, like this one here, you can always go in after. I mean, nobody's over your shoulder going, oh no, you put the colour down first. Can't then go in with the white work. That's not part of the rules. So, yeah, so white work will always take precedence of the colours on the back. So there you go. And I think that looks quite nice with like a slight little bit of frosting on the edge, especially when it's got a little bit of glitter. So yeah, so once, let me colour in the, I'm going back onto the hard side. I'm just going to colour the holly now. So what I created with the holly is I kind of did, I did like a double layer. So at the bottom, I coloured in with one colour. And then I went in on the top with a lighter colour. So again, kind of like creates like a little two-tone. So those two colours were the 30 and 16 for those two hollies. And then we can go in with a little bit of red for the berries. Always a good colour. So for the flames of the candles, I used an orange and a yellow. So I used number 1 and number 23. So at the bottom of the flame, just put a little bit of orange. There we go. No, exactly. No, Dilly. No parchment police here. There is nobody looking over your shoulder telling you off. Don't need that. You're supposed to have fun, aren't you? It's crafting. There are no rules. Just enjoy yourself. That's the only rule. You have to enjoy yourself. Okay, so I might do a little, let's do a red candle. Red one for the middle. So what I would normally do is I would just usually colour my borders first. So I'm careful to begin with, and then I can just go in. I always think if I'm careful to begin with, then I can enjoy the middle part and just scribble. So I've also used number 3, which is kind of like a yellow ochre in a way. It's almost like a little, like a light brown. It's a nice colour. There we go. So there's our candles. And then for the furs, actually, I'll just go back and do this bit. You can either flick like this, so you could just pretend that the front furs are frosting, and the green. Just have fun, really. And then I would colour the middle part a little bit darker. There we go. But yeah, you see, I'm just having fun, really. There we go. What would look nice here, actually, in the background is using your pergoliners and maybe putting a blue, and then you could put a nice little yellow haze around the candles. That would look nice too. So now we've done a little bit of colour, I thought I would show you the tool work. I'm just going to bring in my Pico foam here, and here's one I created earlier. So I thought I'd show you just the border here. So it's a little bit of fun. Let's have some fun. Right, where's my semi-square? I need the semi-square. Right, so we are using the semi-square, if you didn't know. So you have your white line as a guide. Let me just bring in my, okay. So I'm literally just going down with my semi-square on the outside of the white line. and I'm hooking, because there's 2 needles here. Hold on, let me see if I can you see there? There's 2 needles on the outside that are longer than the ones in the middle. So that is so you can hook the needle into the previous tool that you've just perforated. So it makes life a lot easier. We all like an easy life. I think we need an easy life, don't you? There we go. So then I would turn around. I'm not going to do, oops, sorry, let me move this down a little bit. I'm not going to do I haven't done the outside semi-squares, but I'm going to do the inner one. So I leave one, and then what I'm doing, oh, hold on. What I'm doing is I'm perforating into the bottom of the tool. So the long needle on the outside is still going into the previous tool, but as you can see, it's also hooking into the tool on the left. So you kind of have this little box in the middle. There's different ways in which you could cut this out to make it look really nice. So we are just working our way down. But can you see what I'm doing? So I'm not going away. So I'm not doing this. Let me show you what I'm not doing. So you have that on that side. I'm not doing anything like that. I am going 1, and then let me see if I can move it in a way which you can see is I'm hooking these holes that you can see are slightly larger on the outside. I'm hooking the tool into those 2 holes so that it joins the tool together. And so I'm doing that all the way down. Make sure it's the right way round. This is when your magnifying glass comes in. But there's so many ways in which you can perforate and emboss this to make it look so different. There we go. So I'm leaving the last one again. Oh, hello, right at the bottom there. See? We ignore the end ones. So now you're left with this border here. So as you can see here, we've kind of done a large dot in the middle, and then little dots on the outside. However, I wanted to show you just slightly different ideas on what to do with that. So as you can see on this card here, let me bring this in. The big round dot in the middle, I've then come in with my gold metallic pen and painted it over the top. So it kind of looks a bit like a gold dip dot without it being a gold dip dot if you don't have gold acrylic paint. So what I originally, oh, hello, throwing my tools around now. What I originally did was this. So big round dot in the middle, like so. And then it's just a little wiggle. You're putting pressure down and doing a little wiggle round, but not really moving the tool. So then you have that. Okay. However, you could always, let me just move this slightly down. I mean, I know I like to do different things when I'm doing a demo. I start with one idea, but I want to show you different ideas on how to do things as well. So say maybe you just wanted the dots on the outside, and then what you could do is I'm bringing my Pico foam here. I just wanted to show you just something different. Oh, hold on. We're going to the middle a little bit. There we are. So I would perforate. If I was cutting out, I would re-perforate before I Pico cut out. So say you have, so this one isn't the one that I've done the dot in, that's the one. So that's like different. Let me show you the difference with it all reperforated. Okay, so you have that. So that's going to have your big gold dot in the middle. However, this is a really good idea as well. So you would perforate all of this out. However, where's my pico cutters? There we go. So these are my perga cutters. I like the little squizzers. However, you also have the exclusives and the ring locks if you prefer more scissors to the snips. So what I'm going to do is I'm just literally going to perforate, pico cut across in the middle. There we go. So again, that gives it a completely different look. And I quite like that as well. I think that would look really nice for a border as well. So you have this one. So let me just show you what I would do to end that. Is I would just use my gold metallic pen just to put a gold paint dip dot over the top. So let me just see if there you go. You can kind of, there you go, shiny. So that's something different that you could do with that border. But it's a really, really lovely border, I think. You use a semi-square and you would use it on the top of the white line and on the bottom of the white line. So then all you would need to do after you've cut out your border, you would then bring in your eraser pencil and just erase the white line after you've perforated. You can erase the white line after you've perforated, but before you do all of your lovely embossing, because what's going to happen is you're going to start erasing over the embossing and it might squish it back into the parchment. So perforate and then rub out your white line because you don't need it anymore then. And then you can come in with your embossing. And then once that's done, you have that. Let me come out a little bit more. There we go. So again, the only difference is then I've come in with my glitter. So we do have, and I'm going over time a little bit, but I just wanted to show you. We have these little pot holders which have your Dorso oil in, your perga glue and your sticky ink. So there's two choices. You have your mapping pen, which you would then use with your sticky ink. And then you have you have a Cricut glue pen. So for example, on this sample here, things like the little dots in the middle, you can just use your Cricut glue pen. You can have them as big or as small as you want it to. So you can just lightly touch and make them slightly smaller. So you could do that. Or of course, I also use the Cricut glue pen for just the bottom, just laying a little bit of glitter just at the bottom, just like so. However, if you prefer to use the mapping pen, there is a bundle, so you can get the perga glitter, the sticky ink and the mapping pen, 70305, and you get sticks in there. So you get the hint of blue, hint of pink. Oh, it's there, look, see? Hint of blue, hint of copper, hint of green, hint of pink, hint of silver and hint of gold. Also, what I like to do is about half of the glitter in the pots, I would all mix together and I have it in like a little A5 box file. So I put all the glitter in there, mix it all up, so you have multicolored glitter as well. So I use at home I have a little pot that's got all sticks, but only half of the pot. So if I wanted to just use the one colour, I could, but if I wanted to use that lovely multicolored one, I could mix it all together, but have like still half a pot to keep. So I do recommend to keep it in your little pot holder when you're using it. and you just, oh, sorry, my head's in the way. Hello. Hold on, I need to see. Okay, so you're just putting, hold on, let's hopefully it won't go in, kind of like just up to over the top of this. Hold on, let me come in closer. I'm just going to use it to one side first. So it takes a while for it to come out, but once you do it, it goes for such a long time as well. Can you see? You've got, and the slower you go and the slightly more pressure you put on, the wider the line. But you can get some really fine details. You can see that on the Quickie glue pen, it's starting to dry now, which is what you need. You want to put the glitter on when the glue's no longer, you know, when it's dry, it'll be tacky. So then you can just say you wanted it on all the little furs and things. Let me just grab some more. There we go. So you can get some really fine lines, which is really handy. So have a play with it, and if you wanted to test it before you use it, then I would just use it on a scrap, you know, and just test how much is going to come out. But you could, it really does go a really long way because it kind of holds here. The same with, for example, any kind of ink that you're going to use with it, it holds it like a fountain pen. You can go on forever. But yeah, so that's how you would then put the glitter on. And let me put the lid on just in case. But you don't need to worry because it's all held there. But in these little caddies, which were brilliant design, very, very quick turnaround. I need to sort out that mapping pen. So all in all, when you're finished, you'll get that. So I've just laid it onto some nice burgundy red paper from one of our companion papers. I think it was the Shenandoah I used. So yeah, so if you wanted to recreate that, there's the demo sheet, which is on the Catch Up and Craft, and on the right hand side there'll be like a little demo sheet that you can click on. You can print them off. It's very, very handy. All right, so just to finish, I know I've taken a bit more of your time, but I hope you can forgive me. The new Tina Christmas all-in-one Groovi Plate collection, so the new Christmas set that was on Hobby Maker last week. But it's just nice to just go over some of the samples and just really take a nice long look and just have a nice little relaxing hour doing a little bit of a demo and a little bit of design teamwork and having a look at all of the beautiful inspiration. So yeah, so that is the original one. Let me bring it up the full, put my hand out on the sticky ink. Not a good idea, is it? So let me just bring in the full graphics so you can really see. Don't want to see my face, I want to see the nice Groovi plates. So this is the Tina's Christmas all-in-one A5 square Groovi plate collection. So that is $35.96, and then underneath you have all of your discounts. So if you're a club member, you'll have the 10% off if you've got one club, 12.5% if you have two clubs, and 15% if you are all three clubs, which is a Diamond Club member. And then the first set that we brought out is the Tina's Floral Swirls and Corners all-in-one A5 square Groovi plate collection. So again, with all of these plates, they come with a really beautiful inspiration sheet on the back, which you can recreate. Always very, very handy. So again, all your discounts are underneath. And then you have Tina's Rosy Doodles all-in-one A5 square Groovi plate collection. So these were really beautiful as well. And you can create some really beautiful layers with this. Again, all of the inspiration sheets are on the back. So that's always very handy to have as well. And all your discounts are underneath. If you're completely new to Groovi, it's very addictive, just so you know. You also have this deluxe Groovi plate starter kit. So when I first started, I think there was just the butterfly reef and the landscape with the platemate and the mat. Now you've got all of these really brilliant, exciting new things as well. So you have the inset plate, which means you can use all your baby plates, and you have your Groovi tabs, which is always very handy. So you have everything to get started, really. which is always very good. If you are new to parchment and you have studied a little bit, you've done your white work and you've done your colour, and you wanted to try and get into perforating and pico cutting, we also have the 123 online course for perforating and pico cutting. This will be for next month, and it starts on the 5th November, and that goes over 3 Wednesday afternoons. All 3 plates on the left-hand side will be used in the modules as well. And we're just going to have lots of fun learning how to perforate and pico cut along a straight line, a pico square, a little cross, and round grid work, tool work, and all of that exciting stuff. So that's always worth having a look at. If you also wanted to see firsthand all of the beautiful artwork that people create and get more involved with Clarity, then you have the Clarity Open Days, Friday the 14th of November. So not long to go now, less than a month. They run all day, and they have raffles every hour. This, because it's near Christmas, we'll have a nice carol sing along. So it's just going to be lots of Christmassy fun, really. And that's the Friday one, which is 60214. And then you have Saturday, which is 60215. And then, of course, if you wanted to make your weekend longer, then you have the Clarity workshops, which is Get Inky and Arty with Barbara Gray. That's 60216. And if you wanted to get groovy with Linda, then that's 60217. So lots of exciting things coming up next month. So yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this hour. I know I've run over a little bit. There were so many things to cover. But thank you very much, Jilly, for all of your, I'm sure I haven't seen the chat, but I'm sure you've been putting links up and talking to people. So thank you very much for doing that. So thank you very much. So don't forget, today, this afternoon, I think it's 2 and 5. I think 2 and 5 today. Paul will be on Hobby Maker, showing some very nice, exciting stuff. So, and a few lovely demos. So definitely, if you can have a look and watch Paul this afternoon on Hobby Maker, that's cool. Also tomorrow there is the alcohol on the jelly plate workshop with Barbara. So that's very exciting. So I hope everybody that's taking part in that has a lovely time. You're going to learn lots, so have fun with that. I'm probably not going to see you now until Tuesday morning, which is a Groovy Tuesday. So I will see you then. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. Whatever you're doing, whether you're doing the workshop or whether you're doing something else, I hope you have a lovely time. So take care, everyone, and I hope you enjoy your weekend. Bye.